If you're recovering from insomnia and you're starting to sleep more, but instead of feeling better, you feel worse, this video is for you. Welcome to The Hopeful Mind. I'm Michelle. I'm a sleep coach, and I'm here to help you step out of the struggle with chronic insomnia and anxiety. So one of the things that I see very commonly is people beginning to recover from insomnia, sleep more, and instead of feeling better, they start to feel worse first. This is incredibly normal. I went through this as well. And I know that this is a really difficult stage because most of us will assume that the moment we start to sleep better, we're going to feel so much better. We're going to feel rested. Our symptoms are going to drop. The sun will come out. Confetti will fall. This is how we all tend to feel. I know that I had the same expectation. And instead, we start to sleep more and we start to feel worse. We feel tired, feel this heavy exhaustion. And this is where confusion can really set in for a lot of people. So I really want to assure you that this is a normal stage of your healing. And a lot of the times, this is just a sign that your system is starting to come out of hyperarousal. Your hyperarousal levels are really starting to drop, which is a really good thing. And oftentimes, when we've been living in these chronic states of hyperarousal, right, of these sort of high levels of nervous system activation, when we start to come out of these states, instead of going into a state that we would think of more as that middle ground or equilibrium that would feel really good, we go into more of a state of hypoarousal, so low arousal. Think of this as sort of your nervous system going into a bit of a dip after what it's been through. And a lot of the times, this will feel like fatigue, like heavy exhaustion. And I know from my experience, I would get up in the morning after sleeping a full night, and I would feel as though a bus hit me. I would just feel so exhausted, fatigued the whole day. I would feel headachy, sort of brain fogged. There can be this emotional numbness as part of this as well. And this can be really difficult if we're expecting to feel better right away. And all of a sudden, we're faced with this phase of fatigue, essentially. And it's so important to know that this is really normal, and it's actually part of your body's natural healing process. And so one of the biggest things that I see during this time is whatever struggle may have been happening around a person's sleep and symptoms suddenly begins to shift to the fatigue. So, for example, if a person was really fighting a lot against their sleep, symptoms, thoughts, all of this, and they've managed to shift around that, and they're doing better, once they enter into this stage where fatigue is present, they might start to then fight against the fatigue. The fatigue becomes the new struggle. And so it's so important to know that this fatigue is, again, not only normal, but it's part of your body's healing process. Your system needs to go through this experience of almost going through the nervous system coming down and spending a bit of time there. It's your body's way of asking for more rest, for some recovery from the experience that it's just been through. So it's actually doing a lot of deep healing during this phase where things feel, again, like fatigue. There's a lot of healing, there's a lot of integration happening in the system. But if we start to view the fatigue as bad or abnormal or something that we need to fight against, then we're not actually allowing our system to heal in that phase like it needs to. And we're actually prolonging that phase of fatigue, which I know, of course, none of us would want to do. But when we enter into that resistant sort of adversarial relationship now with fatigue, that's essentially what begins to happen. We're prolonging it, and our system isn't able to heal and integrate the way that it's actually trying to do in that phase. Sometimes I use the analogy of seasons that we experience. So think of course, spring and summer as very sort of high energy times. And then, of course, think of going into the winter as this time where things become more dormant. And so winter is this period of contraction, right, in our environment. And it might look as though that, there isn't much going on, but of course this isn't true. There's so much going on underneath the surface and underneath the snow during the winter to enable spring, which spring represents this expansion, to be able to happen, right? Spring cannot happen without what happens in the winter. And so in so many ways, we're very similar, right? We're meant to have periods of expansion and contraction, of activation and lower levels of what I'm calling hyperarousal, or this dip, to actually allow us to be able to heal and integrate and come back into more balance. So if you are here right now, know that this is actually a really good sign. This is a good sign. This is a sign that hyperarousal is coming down. Your system is moving out of chronic activation, and it's moving into a place of healing and repair and integration. And the more you can understand this, accept this, support this, the more your body can do what it knows how to do all by itself. And the more that you will be able to shift out of this phase when the time comes. All right. So let me know in the comments below if you've experienced this, what it was like for you. I always love to read your comments. So share anything that you feel would be helpful. And thanks for being here today. I will see you next time.